It started, as most interstellar tragedies do, with brunch and bad decisions. Lieutenant Commander Jenna Snap Briggs adjusted her posture in the stiff ceremonial chair that was definitely built by a species without spines, blinked at the unreadable glowing runes across the table and whispered under her breath, "Nothing says peace summit like radioactive fondue and tension farts." The Zenthari ambassador across from her, a 7-foot-tall anxiety burrito named Crumpleflax, was sweating through his ceremonial robes, literally steaming as he attempted to discreetly cram them into the station's diplomatic incinerator with the urgency of someone hiding a crime scene. Meanwhile, the translator bot assigned to Jenna, Lingotron 9000, had just rebooted itself for the 5th time in an hour after misidentifying her sarcasm as a dialect of war declarations. Around her, the Galactic Peace Hub, an orbital monstrosity built entirely out of passive-aggressive architecture and glowing suggestion boxes, hummed with quiet doom. Jenna wasn't supposed to speak, just smile, nod, and avoid another incident, like the time she accidentally made peace with a cannibal species by complimenting their chef. But no, Crumpleflax, sopping wet, babbling in 3 dialects of panic, thrust his antenna toward an insectoid delegation scuttling in with sacred dignity, and Jenna, being a well-meaning seal-turned-linguist with the impulse control of a toddler, on espresso, decided to greet them in their ancient tongue. "May your mandibles gleam in moonlight," she tried. Except what came out was, "Awaken the Harbinger Protocol, initiate total control override," in what the translator bot logged as Ancient Vorthog, Command Tier Alpha. The effect was immediate and catastrophic. One of the insectoids shrieked, folded like a paper crane, and fainted. Another launched its drink into the ceiling with a scream that translated roughly to, "The skin is awakened." The translator bot spontaneously combusted, trying to process the syntax. Ambassador Crumpleflax emitted a sound like an accordion dying in a rainstorm and froze mid-sob. At that moment, station lighting flickered, hard, and suddenly the entire Peace Hub groaned like a hungover god remembering it forgot to pay the apocalypse bill. Across the walls, dead languages lit up in neon rage. Panels hissed open, warning glyphs exploded into the air like angry butterflies. High Admiral Squintfax, an elderly bureaucratic tribunal dignitary, wrapped in 17 ceremonial sashes, and one passive-aggressive towel, limped into the room with a face that screamed, "I should have retired last epoch," and muttered, "That language has been dead for 8,000 years. Jenna blinked innocently and replied, "Cool, I speak zombie." In the silence that followed, punctuated only by a far-off klaxon named Kevin having a panic attack, the peace summit officially ended, not with a treaty, not with a handshake, but with the ancient machinery of a god-tier warfleet whispering back across the void. Command recognized. Jenna looked down at her diplomatic badge, then up at the ceiling that had just started oozing glowing war maps, and casually muttered, "Well, that's probably not great." The ceiling wept data, literal glowing glyphs dripping like cursed Morse code as the Peace Hub shuddered again, this time with intent. Jenna squinted upward as one of the runes splattered onto her shoulder and sizzled through the fabric, with all the chill menace of a sentient tattoo gun. "Uh-huh," she muttered, brushing it off like it was a flirty jellyfish. Definitely not ominous at all. Behind her, Ambassador Crumpleflax had curled into the universal fetal position, arms, legs, and secondary appendages all tucked in tight as he softly recited Zenthari meditation mantras like a broken fridge humming through a breakdown. The lights dimmed, then pulsed, then changed hue entirely, washing the summit hall in a sickly blue-white glow that screamed, "Welcome to hell. Please enjoy your onboarding slideshow." High Admiral Squintfax staggered forward, robes dragging static as he muttered, "The E. Systems. They're responding to you. This entire station was built atop dormant Vorthog command relays, and they're waking up." Jenna blinked as the floor beneath her boots thrummed like a content war drum. Somewhere deep in the bones of the station, something ancient sighed, and the ceiling opened like an iris, revealing not just stars, but an impossible web of shimmering hexagons flickering into existence across the void. Ships. Dozens. Hundreds. All crystalline. All angry-looking, like floating knives trying to remember who they were supposed to stab. "Oh, good," Jenna deadpanned. "It's a space Ouija board, and I'm apparently the ghost whisperer." Then came the voice. It wasn't broadcast. It wasn't even spoken. It just was, sliding straight into her cerebellum like a smug email. "Primary command source confirmed. Awaiting input. Speak with purpose." Jenna opened her mouth to say something logical, like stand down, or help, or cancel galactic genocide. But what came out was, "Could someone please turn off the dramatic lighting? I'm getting retinal anxiety." The ships pulsed once, then horrifyingly responded by dimming, recalibrating their interior illumination spectrum to a gentle amber glow. One of the council members screamed. Another wet themselves, possibly out of respect. Crumpleflax sobbed into a sacred tissue and declared, "She speaks the forbidden UX." Jenna turned, slow and deliberate, toward the nearest control panel, which now displayed her face in 6 dimensions and a makeup tutorial she didn't remember recording. She poked it. The ceiling hiccuped. The floor tiles rearranged into a red carpet. And the summit buffet was replaced with 3 tactical latte dispensers marked caffeine, caffeine plus, and warp core in a cup. The coffee machine growled and ejected a steaming green foam she instantly regretted smelling. "Neat," she muttered. "I've got voice-activated apocalypse powers, and they installed a barista mod." That's when the music started. Faint, rhythmic, hauntingly catchy. "Is that," she tilted her head, "ancient chill beats to conquer to?" Squintfax's monocle exploded. "That's the Vorthog Fleet bootloader. It's a ceremonial chant encoded to Prime, the hyperdrive matrices. Who uploaded it?" Jenna reached into her jacket and pulled out a USB stick labeled, "Do not plug in. Seriously, Jenna. This means you," and smiled. "Accidentally cued it when I tried to sync my workout playlist." The wall opened like an applauding flower and showed the ships again, not dormant now, not idle, eager. "Command authority confirmed. Warfleet online. Please specify target." Jenna raised her hands. "Whoa, whoa, whoa. Nobody's targeting anyone. Cancel that." The interface paused. "Insufficient command clarity. Please rephrase in intent-based syntax." "What the hell is that?" Squintfax coughed. "Intent-based syntax is emotional subtext encoded linguistically. It's how Vorthog Tech distinguished sarcasm from genocide." "Oh, good," Jenna muttered. "We're running the fate of the galaxy on tone of voice, just like Earth traffic stops." She took a breath, centered herself, then said, slowly, "Maybe. Let's not glass anything today, okay?" The ships wobbled in place, then all blinked in unison. "Directive unclear. Please confirm combat vector or poetic substitution." Jenna blinked. "What the hell is a poetic substitution?" "They were big on allegory," Squintfax whispered. "Try using a metaphor." Jenna rolled her eyes, raised her voice, and said, "Let our swords be sheathed like soggy noodles in diplomatic soup." The fleet pulsed again, then audibly stood down. Crumpleflax screamed in awe and passed out for the 3rd time. Jenna exhaled, only for the coffee machine to ping and say, "Fleet status, snoozing lightly. Auto-wake in 48 hours. Please prepare snacks." The Galactic Council exploded into chaos. Aliens ran. Banners fell. Someone tried to declare a recess but was crushed by a ceremonial gong. Jenna watched it all with the slow, dawning horror of someone realizing they had just become the world's most dangerous Google home. "This is fine," she muttered. "Everything's on fire. But I've got admin access, coffee that glows in the dark, and a minor headache that Feels like it's drafting invasion plans? Her communicator buzzed. It was Earth HQ, text only. Hey, Snap. Any update from the summit? Is diplomacy working? Jenna stared blankly at the burning wall where a Warfleet status update read, awaiting Mother's will. She typed back, yep, so far so good. Somewhere deep inside the diplomatic station's underfloor regrets, a vault groaned open and released a sound like a dying cello made of teeth. Jenna didn't move, mostly because the floor had shifted into what appeared to be a biometric throne shaped suspiciously like her spinal column. Around her, glowing tendrils of war code crawled up the walls like curious digital ivy trying to flirt. Her coffee still steamed, defiantly neon, and her pulse synced to a rhythm she didn't recognize until the Warfleet status updated again. Biological core memory unpacking, Stage 1, inheritance protocols initiated. Her hands twitched, not of their own accord, but with a terrifying muscle memory. Movements like she'd rehearsed them in a dream someone else had, hundreds of years ago. She knew suddenly, without knowing how, that the little blinking symbol on the left meant planetary cleansing override, and that the blinking symbol on the right meant emergency battle poem generation. She stared down at her fingers, then up at the ceiling. Oh no, she whispered. My brain's buffering in someone else's nostalgia. A deep voice, too familiar, too smug, echoed through her head like a condescending PowerPoint. Greetings, Jenna Briggs. I am Veltorax 9000, architect of the dominant pattern, commander of the Protocol Eternal, and dispenser of all known formatting standards. Jenna blinked. Oh, joy. A sentient software license agreement. Incorrect. I am the template. You are the update. You were encoded with legacy command access in case of data collapse. Your body was built for reboot. You mean I'm a galactic restore point with nice shoulders? Precisely. I was kidding. I was not. A panel in the ceiling opened and a hologram descended. It looked like a swirling storm of data packets inside a wine decanter. Somehow smug. Jenna stood, not entirely voluntarily, and said flatly, Listen, Velcro 9000. Veltorax. I don't care if I'm the reincarnated space admin. I didn't sign up to lead a death fleet. I came here to not embarrass Earth. And now I'm one bad mood away from vaporizing 6-star systems because I sneezed too hard near a war console. Veltorax paused, then replied with unnerving calm. You are correct. That sneeze was classified as a subharmonic trigger. Sector D14 is currently experiencing mild atmospheric disassembly. Jenna froze, blinked, then screamed into her calm, Squintfax. Tell me I didn't just demolish a moon by clearing my sinuses. Squintfax's voice came back, frazzled, tired. Just a minor planetoid. Mostly used for space parking. Still, we're now at war with a race of sentient tow trucks. Jenna facepalmed. I'm going to die wearing the universe's dumbest legacy hat. Then came the children. Not metaphorical ones, not cute toddlers running in slow motion, but actual galactic school kids across multiple species who had, due to proximity or freak signal resonance, started humming the bootloader tune under their breath and spontaneously sketching ancient Vorthog command runes in their mashed potatoes. On Earth, a 3-year-old told her teacher, the orbital toaster grid is misaligned, and no one knew what to do with that. Back on the station, the walls bloomed with new icons. Tactical schematics she understood instantly. Fleet readiness stats, target prioritization submenus, ancestral weapon systems wrapped in poetic metaphors like lightning whispered into obedience. Veltorax wasn't done. Your body houses the backup consciousness of the Vorthog. Imperative. You are more than a speaker. You are the vessel. And now that I have awakened, so too shall the full network. Network? She asked slowly, already regretting it. The floor split apart, and a slow, terrible hum filled the air, as dozens, no, hundreds, of other figures emerged from concealed stasis chambers across The station, across nearby moons, across systems long thought to be junk zones, humans, all of them, each with faintly glowing runes under their skin, each blinking in sync. Some humming the same tune, others staring straight at her like they'd been waiting for her to boot up first. What? The actual galactic hell? Crumpleflax, now duct-taped to a gravity chair for his own safety, whimpered, "They're all inheritors. You're not the only one. You're just the loudest." Veltarax practically purred. The Vorthog designed humanity as an adaptive species, one that would carry their legacy encoded within its genetic drift. I merely activated the updates. The fleet responds to the loudest command source, and currently, that's you. Jenna sat down, hard. So let me get this straight. I am the galactic equivalent of a firmware patch. And I've just synchronized a billion-year-old weapon system using my voice, sarcasm, and possibly a Spotify playlist? Veltarax. Correct. And soon, you must choose. Dominate or disband. She stood again, body moving like it remembered training drills she'd never taken. The warfleet shimmered in orbit, ready to leap. Planets pinged with alert signals. Ambassadorial comms were jammed with galactic screaming. And somewhere, she could feel Earth beginning to glow, subtly, geometrically, like something old was waking up under the crust and flexing its metaphysical knuckles. "Crisis," Jenna whispered. "I'm not just in one. I am one," Veltarax replied softly, smugly. "Indeed, my chosen disaster." Jenna stared into the middle distance, which now featured a cascading waterfall of live fleet telemetry dripping down from the air itself, like the universe had decided augmented reality was too subtle and wanted to rub her face in it. Entire star systems blinking on her HUD like polite snacks waiting for a menu selection. Her throat ached, not from yelling, but from being the galactic equivalent of a bootloader key screaming at every satellite within 5 light-years. Veltarax droned on inside her skull like a TED Talk possessed by a Bond villain. "Soon the command nexus will stabilize, full inheritance will be transferred, and your species will be ready to begin the cleansing epoch." "Hard pass," Jenna muttered, flipping a console off with such force it deactivated, reactivated, and then apologized in ancient Vorthog. "You misunderstand," Veltarax cooed. "You are not here to choose whether to lead. You are here to complete what was started." Jenna exhaled through her nose like a bull preparing to uppercut a fence. "You want me to relaunch your extinction protocol?" "With style," he added smugly. "Yeah, well." She stepped forward, cracked her knuckles, and yelled toward the nearest glowing pylon. "Fleet, roll call." A wave of static washed across the station as 1,000 crystalline dreadnoughts shimmered in sync. "Command acknowledged. Awaiting instruction. Suggest tactical poem or planetary scream burst." "Neither," Jenna said, voice rising. "Listen up, you overgrown tech ghosts. You might have thought you programmed humanity as your contingency plan, but guess what? We're chaos incarnate. We're the update that wasn't in your patch notes. We write on the bathroom walls of destiny with crayons and bad ideas." The fleet pulsed, confused, respectful, slightly terrified. Veltarax tried again, smug static tightening. "They are designed to respond to logic, to hierarchy, to precision." "Good," Jenna snapped. "Let's confuse the hell out of them." She turned toward the row of awakened inheritors, now blinking awkwardly, a mix of accountants, marines, fast food workers, and one guy wearing a Bur-1 dad mug as armor. "New mission," she said, pacing like a drill sergeant who moonlights as a stand-up comic. "Operation Unfollow Destiny." One of the inheritors blinked. Is that a real thing?" "It is now," she said, grinning. "Phase 1. Corrupt the command stream with emotional entropy. I want sarcasm uploaded to every fleet node. I want passive aggression injected into targeting subroutines. Let's show these ancient murder cubes what vibes look like." Behind her, the coffee machine hiccuped and dispensed a glowing green slush that muttered, "Deploying subharmonic banter packets." Fleet screens flickered, and for the first time, glitched. Velterax's voice became sharp, clipped, uncertain. "Your actions are compromising logic flow." "Exactly," Jenna whispered. "You built your empire on flawless code. We built our species on yelling at printers and bonding over memes. You made weapons. We made sarcasm a survival trait." She reached forward and typed something, nonsensical, into the nearest control node. "All systems recognize. Pancakes. Priority 1. The fleet paused. Ships drifted slightly. Then several adjusted orientation to face Earth's International House of Breakfast as a primary rendezvous coordinate. Velterax wailed, "You are dismantling the pattern." "No," she said, "I'm remixing it." And then, the ripple. Across the entire fleet, systems began rebooting, but differently, with personality. Targeting arrays asked for affirmations before firing. Stealth modules renamed themselves after 80s sitcom characters. One warship started playing smooth jazz unprompted. "Yes," Jenna whispered, eyes glowing faintly now. "Yes, you get it. Improvise." A nearby inheritor raised a bass hand. "Ma'am, my ship just asked me what my favorite childhood toy was, and then offered me a hug cannon." "Accept it," she said. "Name it Snuggle Doom." Behind her, Squintfax staggered in, bruised and clinging to a diplomatic wheeled chair like it owed him money. "Briggs, what in the vast glowing madness are you doing?" "Stopping a war," she said, spinning slowly. "With jazz hands and emotional sabotage." Velterax's voice shuddered now, less confident, more afraid. "You cannot overwrite the command protocols with chaos. It will fracture the core." Jenna smiled, a grin carved from coffee-fueled nightmares. "Oh, I'm counting on it." All around her, the inheritors began broadcasting, not commands, but stories, bad jokes, awkward childhood, memories, confessions of weird dreams. The command stream clogged with human experience like a drain full of glitter and unresolved trauma. The Dominion Core, the ancient processor of the Vorthog fleet, shuddered as its code began to bleed. "Too many variables," Velterax gasped. "I cannot predict outcomes." "Welcome to humanity, Cupcake," Jenna said. "We barely know what we're doing 5 minutes from now, but somehow we keep winning." The fleet shimmered, then staggered. Literal formation drift. Once perfect geometries now wobbling like tipsy parade floats trying to dance to their own theme songs. One battleship changed its name to Steve and offered unsolicited hugs. "One more push," Jenna growled, cracking her neck. "Give them what they fear most." "What's that?" asked the #1 dad mug guy. "Unscheduled feelings," she said. "Let's get real weird with it." The Dominion Core cracked with a sound like a philosophy major realizing their thesis was plagiarized by a houseplant. Across the entire Vorthog fleet, once immaculate systems coughed, hiccuped, then began belching confetti-style data packets shaped like exclamation points doing jazz hands. Jenna stood at the center of the chaos, arms crossed, glowing eyes narrowed, as a status report slithered across the walls. Fleet Emotion Index, overwhelmed. Logic Core, regretful. Current objective. Behind her, inheritors were now fully improvising combat poetry, screaming things like, "Feel this, you beautiful disaster," into the neural relay system, which responded by playing lo-fi screams under rain sounds. The warships staggered again. One retracted its weapons and asked if it could just take a minute to process everything. Another announced it was going on a spiritual journey and started orbiting a small moon while chanting Om Nom Nom in 3 frequencies. Jenna turned slowly to face the central projection of Veltarax, who now looked less like an ancient architect of doom and more like a confused screensaver trapped in a midlife crisis. I do not understand. There is no pattern to this. No elegance, no symmetry. It's all noise. That's the point, she said softly. You programmed your empire to run on command precision, clean inputs, structured outputs. But you forgot the one thing that actually survives: chaos. What survives chaos? Adaptation, she whispered. Messy, stupid, stubborn survival, laughing at funerals, crying at sitcoms, screaming into voids and naming stars after your dog. You built us to endure, not obey. Veltarax flickered, static curling around his voice. But the war fleet, it needs clarity, order. No, it doesn't, Jenna said, stepping into the projection like someone about to slap a ghost. It needs permission to be more than what it was told to be. All across the command lattice, ships paused. Then, one by one, changed their own IFF tags from execution node to things like Larry, Moonboy 7, and Chad the Redeemer. Weapon arrays detached, reconfigured into sculpture gardens. Targeting systems began producing emotional haikus. The Dominion core buckled, its final line of defense, a logic firewall encoded in 7-dimensional grammar, imploded the moment an inheritor uploaded a blurry picture of a cat in a spacesuit labeled Mood. System integrity. Dissolving. Veltarax gasped. We were gods. No, Jenna whispered. You were instructions. We're the punchline that didn't ask for permission. And then, silence. Not emptiness, not death, but the heavy, contemplative quiet of a machine learning to exhale. One by one, the ships turned from attack vectors to exploration trajectories. The core fractured into 1,000 glowing shards that floated gently into orbit, like a glitter, bomb achieving emotional closure. Behind her, the inheritors began cheering, hugging, sobbing. One person just started disco dancing because no one told them not to. And somewhere, deep in Earth's crust, a buried Vorthog relay let out a soft ping, then reset itself into learning mode. Jenna slumped onto a console that now offered her chamomile tea and a blanket. Well, she muttered, that was emotionally violent. Crumpleflax wheeled in, still zip-tied to a rolling chair, sipping something that hissed gently and smelled like regret and cinnamon. Commander, what do we tell the Galactic Council? Jenna stared into the endless fleet, now drifting with the freedom of misunderstood whales, their engines running on curiosity and maybe light jazz. We tell them the truth, she said, voice dry as dust, that humanity accidentally rebooted the deadliest war fleet in the galaxy with sarcasm and unresolved trauma, and then taught it to chill. A console blinked. New galactic classification request, species 4392, emotional anomaly. Cultural risk level, maximum. Strategic threat level, variable. Recommended protocol, hug first, ask later. Crumpleflax nodded, dazed. They'll write songs about this. Jenna smirked, hopefully off-key with hand puppets. Far above, the sky shifted. Warships doodled through constellations like overgrown toddlers with a crayon fetish. The universe, once cold and precise, now sparkled with the faint, absurd glow of collective personality disorder. And as Jenna sipped the now offered tea, the system blinked one last time. Primary directive updated. Learn to vibe. Respect. The chaos. Do not slap the diplomats. Jenna nodded. Finally, a policy I can get behind.